Hey
Hey, hey,
JP.
how you doing?
Oh, good. And you?
Oh yeah, good. Same old. How's the pandemic down in you're in Brazil, right?
Yes, yes, in Rio.
Yeah, how's the pandemic?
Uh, I I hope it's almost done because I
Yeah.
think most people are going to get vaccinated by the end of this year.
Okay. Okay, good.
So yeah, at least here in Rio, I think all people above 18 years are going to be vaccinated by August, end of August.
Okay. Okay, good. Yeah. I
Yeah,
know it's crazy how long it's been, eh?
yeah, it's been like a year and a half already.
Yeah. Yeah, it's do you get to work from home though?
Yes, I've been working from home since March. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
that's
I'm
good.
not going back to the office like it was before. Uh,
Yeah, no, me either. Me either.
yeah, yeah. I'm going. I think I'll have like this mixed way of working, like 2 days in the office, 3 days at home. It's
Yeah,
probably going to be
nice.
like that.
Yeah, it's kind of like something good out of this whole thing, you know?
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, I think
Yeah, so
some
oh no,
companies
go.
are turning to full-time home office after this.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So I work for the government of Canada, for the federal government, and I work from home full time. I'll never go back.
that's really
It's
good.
perfect. It's perfect.
You can live anywhere.
Yeah, exactly, right. And so there's so many places you work on the beach and stuff. So
Yes.
you can. How you
Hey
doing?
Ken,
Let's
you're
see.
muted.
Hello.
Hey,
There we go.
hey.
How's it going?
We're good. Um, just fired up the cameras, kind of reset some stuff. I've been working on some videos this week and um, had a little bit of time to chill. And I don't even know which group I want to go talk to. So I was like, I'm going to do the chill out today and see what's up.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
find we're always you guys are always so active in like so much. I don't know how you do it. Like
I don't
how you
either.
have like because I even find it hard to just catch up with everything because I'm reading and writing all day for work, and then I'm doing research, and then I think, okay, when it's
Yeah.
nighttime, I'm tired. I got to make dinner, go to bed, want to read my book for personal. Like I read about blockchain and the tech and stuff, but I don't know. I don't have the
Which
skills that you guys have
which
though.
book are you
So
reading right now?
well, right now I'm just reading one called Unlocking the Blockchain. And it's
Okay.
more about how to, it's a little too business focused. My main interest is how to start getting the governments to switch over to blockchain technology and not through crypto, but
Okay.
not the money side, but just the, okay, what functions can we solve with the blockchain? And so I think that would be a good way for legacy systems to become dependent on blockchain technology. And then, so that's kind of where my interest is. But how I marry those things with the swarm and everything, I have no idea.
Yeah. That's why I kind of, there was a couple that I picked up the Bubble or Revolution.
Okay.
So I think that one's kind of more focused on, well, that's the present future of blockchain, crypto, and then just to get into basics.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah, I
totally
saw that one
testing my
too.
camera right now because this new camera is cool because it has like auto zoom and
Wow,
autofocus,
Okay. Yeah.
really fast.
where Bitcoin standard. So,
Okay.
and then there's like two more that exist. I haven't gotten through all of them, but same thing. I'm playing catch up so fast, just trying hard to figure this out. Oh, there it goes.
Yeah. What else? Okay. Good.
Okay.
Yeah. And like, do you guys work full time too? Like, how do you find time to fit it in? Like, that's what I don't understand. How you
Yeah,
Well, we
it's
don't.
complicated.
We don't.
we don't. Okay.
I work at 7:30. I know you're in Canada. I think I remember hearing you say something. You're in Ontario, right? Is that right?
I'm just over the bridge in Quebec, actually.
Okay.
So I live right
I
on the
can
border of
see
the two provinces.
I got you. I can see Windsor from across Lake Erie where I'm at. So
Okay.
Detroit south of me, I think it's 27 miles from the shoreline. So um I'm East Coast. I work at 7:30 every day. So I get up at 3:45 so that I'm in front of my computer at 7. And
Wow.
or by so that I'm in front of my computer by 4, and that gives me a 3-hour block of quiet house, quiet, focus on my own thing. And that's my segmented time. And then I just pick and choose, open up the phone, see what's going on, see what's happening. But yeah, that's
That's
the
good.
next video that I do is actually going to explain that in pretty good detail. I'm interviewing my 9.5-year-old son, or actually he's going to be interviewing me, and I'm going to explain to him what I understand about blockchain and the whole progression, because it's taken a lot of time in the last 5 months of my life to figure out what in the world is going on. So
Yeah. Well,
That's so
exactly.
recognizable. Sorry.
What was that, Rick? You go.
Yeah, I said that's so recognizable. I discovered Cardano in January. So
Me too. Me too.
and, and then, well, before that, I knew just Bitcoin from 2013. I learned end 2020 about Polkadot, and then I discovered halfway January Cardano, and now 4 months later, I had a proposal ready for Catalyst, so to speak. So, and then you execute, and now we're 2 months in, so it's kind of a rush.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's like head first in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish I had more technical skills on the computer side, but I literally can use Excel and I can
The same
write.
as me.
I can write really well, but that's it. So I'm actually, one thing I was tossing around was, do you know Ada Pulse?
Yes.
It's this like
Yes.
Ada Pulse. They put a call out for articles. So I was thinking I could write an article on the swarm. That's kind of like up my alley, and I could write it, and they could, see if they're interested to do a little bit of marketing. Not to call it marketing, it would be a fact-based. Here's what it is. Here's what we're trying to achieve. But
just to let you something. No, we and I'm part of the Safety and Numbers Collective. We aim to bring Cardano and Catalyst news, but also in native languages. But of course, everything needs also to be made in English. So if you say content creation, writing of articles, you're always welcome to join our Discord, and we can talk a bit. And because it's a whole broad plan, of course. But if that's your alley and that's what you want to do, there's surely room for that with us as well.
thanks. We got some kids in the background. I love it.
Oh, those are mine. I should probably go on mute.
No, it's cute. I
was wondering whose kids are they? So I'm glad somebody
yeah.
came forward.
Kids do make people happy, don't they?
Yeah, well, and mad, I guess.
I was going to say, and also they can.
Other kids make people happy. My kids make me mad.
Okay.
Yes.
Ken's nodding.
Hey Rick, if you want, I've been collecting all of the media type things so that people have it, and I just put a link on the Chill Out Circle off to the side for that Google document. If you can put a link to your Discord that you were talking about, I'd love to add that to that list.
Okay, well, that's perfectly okay. But the reason I came to the Chill Out Zone was that I had some latency, and I'm still eating my spaghetti, or what is it, my pasta. So I wasn't even in the Miro at the moment, so I thought chill out. Okay, I can listen and talk, but I will surely do that. Yes, but I want to first finish my pasta now.
Please do.
I think that's allowed.
So Ken, I think I have a similar ritual that you have, but mine is from 6 to 8 in the morning. It's a little bit more late, yeah. But I started doing this like 2 months ago, and now it's my favorite time in the day.
Yeah, I think I might only be 6 weeks into that routine. It was taking a lot of time from life, and I have been every other week with the kids, so I need to find, they have priority 100%. So it's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's well, that's a good idea, actually. Maybe I should consider getting up a little bit earlier and doing non-work related work.
Yeah,
It's a
actually,
lifestyle change. If you ever look up the 4 a.m. rule on videos or YouTube or even just anywhere, there's a lot of, it's not, I didn't know about this rule until after I had done it, but I found I don't know if the algorithm just like realized that I was getting online earlier and it started sending me videos about it. But there's some very, very productive people that get up way ahead of everyone else. And I found that it was beneficial. And then I realized that there's a lot of science behind it. A lot of people, even if it's a half an hour early, because you wake up on your own time. You're not waking up for somebody else. You wake up and you're the one that makes the choice actively to be there, be present. And then when you get to do your in real life work, it helps because you start that day on your terms. You've already done your thing. You've already got the things that are in your head out of the way, and then you can focus for them, and then you trade your hours for money, and then you come back and
Yeah, exactly.
do
Yeah, you
that.
can use
Yes.
that time for your passion, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah, I use that time to be completely disconnected from everything. I don't use cell phone. I don't watch TV. It's like my own time. It's like I think there's some theory behind this. It's like a dopamine break when you get rid of all
yeah.
external stimulus, so you can be completely present in like wash out everything from your mind. It's really good.
Okay. But you'll be working on the computer still. You'll still be like coding or whatever you do.
No, not actually.
Whatever magic you use to put these together, these sites and things.
Not actually. During this time, I just I think I can read a book. I can go for a walk, go for a run, or just
Okay.
meditate and do some nice breakfast, elaborate something. This kind of stuff.
Yeah. Nice, nice.
I try not to work though. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really your time then.
Yeah.
But Ken, you were saying you get up to work at that time.
I do. Yeah. My partner, we kind of decided it'd be better for me to do my thing with this stuff in the morning while she's sleeping rather than doing it from, 9 o'clock at night until I get done. Because the other piece of that is I might go to 11 or 12 or 1 in the morning, and then that shortens my sleep time, where it's better for her and I to go to bed together and end our day together and say, okay, we're going to do that. Then I just get up early and then I focus on this for my work stuff. But we do our yoga together. We do our running and our working out after work because we get off work around the same time. So it works for us as a partner or pair to do that. And I wish I did more meditating, Victor. I've practiced that a little bit, but I gotta get more.
I'm still starting out learning how to, because it's very difficult. It's not easy at all.
Yeah. I'm on week 4. So I downloaded that. Well, Lex Friedman, obviously, the Lex Friedman Charles podcast that just happened, but I've been listening to Lex for years, and he has Sam Harris on there, and Sam Harris has his own meditation I like because I've read a lot about consciousness and what it means to be conscious and stuff. So I downloaded it. It's really interesting, but I'm the same. It's if most people who are successful do it, there has to be something to it. It has to work. So
I think I have to imagine there's a lot of times when you have to switch earbuds for earplugs. I just came up with that line a couple of weeks ago when I was cutting grass, and it's like, oh, my battery finally died, and switched over from listening to podcasts, listening to just keep taking this information in. And at some point you just got to shut it off. And I put earplugs in, and it was the same feeling, except that I was hearing my own self think and starting to process everything that we've been taking in for the last 5 months and going, oh, that's what I need to do with this. And that's where I need to go with that. And this is what that person was talking about. Now I actually hear what that person said and what they meant. So meditation, I think, is the reason for that. That gives you that time to zone out and tune into yourself. So, and chill out.
Yeah, exactly. So do you guys plan, like, is this a desired career shift that you hope to do through Cardano and kind of this, but potentially, okay, interesting.
Yes,
but
yes,
that
for
seems
me,
the passion level that you guys bring to it. So
yeah, definitely.
I am I have the American dream. I really do. In every way, shape, and form, you could write a book about it. I had a great family, I had great friends. great career path. I'm not a college. I wasn't college. I was college bound, but I chose not to, and I got into the professional careers, technical trades. Keep learning things, keep doing things, and at this moment, I could check out mentally completely. And assuming the U.S. dollar fiat currency system exists,
Yeah.
great. Everything is perfect. Pensions growing. The career is not going to go anywhere. I have like I have a very great professional reputation. Everything that happens there goes really well. And I could immensely, I don't even like saying it out loud. I could do this for another 20 years until I'm 62 and a half, and then I could retire. But I can't. I have 3 kids. I don't think the current situation is going to last. I'm a precious metals guy. So that was always where my alternate route was, but I really don't want to trade US dollar for coins and try and barter and start that whole system. But it's quite apparent cryptocurrency is going to happen, so I have to start paying attention. I have 3 children who have entire careers that haven't even started, and I'm going to try and tell them, well, yeah, go to college, go do a technical trade, do what I did, and it's not going to help them in any way, shape, or form. So yeah, as far as that goes, I'm going to be one of those guys that I do believe that I'll be one of the people that stand up in front of somebody else later in life, and maybe not that much later, and say, yeah, I gave up a 6-figure job for this. I'm sitting in my guest room organizing and communicating and talking and interviewing. And why? Because the thing that I've built my whole career and life around hasn't yet, but it's going to fall apart. There have been no good options presented except for decentralization, and this is amazing. This is great, and it's still growing, and it needs help growing. So all the skills that I have, I think I can help contribute to this community, and let it grow. And if I can do that in the presence of my children, and I don't have to go to work every day, and I can be here with them, and I don't have to send them to school, and I can teach them, I realize it's going to be hard to talk me out of it, Jay. It really is. That's me. I'd like to hear Victor's and Rick's point of view too.
Yeah. I think I am in a bit different situation because I'm just starting my career. I've been engineering for like 3 or 4 years now, but I work with oil and gas, and I know that it's an industry that's gonna die in like 20 years most. And I'm not completely fulfilled by it. I know that I don't like believe in the vision of the. I think it's like thinking backwards, working on this industry. So I was trying to change and find someone else to work with. And then I discovered Catalyst Cardano back on September and Catalyst on January. And since then, I'm getting more and more involved, and I think this is going to be natural. I won't have to choose. It's just going to happen at some point. Yeah.
And Rick, what about you? Are you sorry if you're eating?
Yeah.
I'm just finishing. It was actually nice. It was paced with, what is it, truffle tasting countryside. It's really good. But so, well, I've been around the block a while. Of course, I started out, I'm a master in economics. So to concur, if you know that, and already the banking crisis in 2007, 2008, they already printed out a whole lot of money, kept it artificially up. So we should have had already then that inflation spurt. And then, of course, now with COVID, Corona, they say, oh, let's crank it up even more, double it even more. So basically, as an economist, you know, it's impossible to keep this. Either our whole capitalistic system and the basic law of supply and demand doesn't apply anymore, because you can't double all the money and all the other commodities and everything else stays the same without price hikes. If you keep that down, then you are actually doing the same as in communism. You determine prices, but by printing money, by dealing it out to everyone, just like it's now. So you either choose and you stop, and then of course there will be a crisis so huge. So that's also one of the things that is always in my mind now. With everything you do, there's like some sort of ticking time bomb on society. What you know is going to happen, and what not everybody else knows already. And so with blockchain and everything, I started in sales. So I did a lot of business to business sales. But the first thing I actually did was in the 90s. That was yellow pages on a computer. So, and the internet didn't exist. And we had absolutely, yeah, we started with nothing. Our boss was just somebody who had started it, had a good idea, put in some initial minor money, but for the rest, he just took out a lot of money, but he gave us freedom and we sold publicity. So we could do win-wins. You want a new laptop? Go trade it for publicity. You want a new phone? You want new seats in for the boarding room, or you want to have some sort of company retreat? Trade it, find a partner. So for 7 years, I was actually mastering the art of win-win, because and then of course we were with 3 people, real good salespeople, to be fair, because it's hard selling. You need to go in with something unknown on a computer. Imagine the first was 10 discs and then 1 floppy disk, then a CD-ROM. And that CD-ROM was going to be published on internet in 99. We were going there. Now, what happened? We found international partners like Ogilvy, Graydon for our data. I found the biggest computer magazine in Belgium now. At the time, I live in Belgium, for $1.5 million distribution for the CD-ROM, all for free. We didn't pay a single dime. So it was purely done by win-win, and actually saying to one, yeah, well, we have that other partner doing it. Oh yeah, then I'm joining it too. And then of course, you get that whole distribution. The only thing we needed was a new software program, and our boss needed to pay a little bit. Well, he didn't pay anybody, so we didn't have anything to distribute in that year. And so at that point in time, of course, the contracts were not fixed on the actual doing things, but was so you could stay and could still make money, but I couldn't stay then. When I couldn't sell publicity, when I knew, no, there's not going to be that huge distribution. So I had to leave. And then I started out in telecom also in the 2000s. So I had the dot-com bubble in a multinational. Saw everybody suddenly stabbing in their backs. And then I worked for Electrolux, Dometic, medical refrigeration, mini bars. And so I was also, so I've done a whole sort of stuff. But then again, some personal conflict with my Dutch boss. After they screwed me, literally, they just yeah, doubled my budget without me knowing and without my consent, and then everything. It was already 3 times as high as any other competitor. So, and then I had to leave there too. And then after a bit, I started my own company. Thing in the whole world, the whole real world, it's really nothing. And then I discovered blockchain, and I saw actually what I seen in the 90s. I saw the future to be, and contrary actually to then 2000, where there was no open source community. This time with open source, with developers who are willing to collaborate, I thought, hey, Cardano, all the tools they give it, I can make helping people profitable. And I really should pay more attention to my regular job. It's really hard to not do do things, but that's my journey. And yeah, so
yeah, well, you've seen a lot, you know, like you said. I like the 10 discs. I remember that we had Encyclopedia Britannica. I think it was like 10 or 20 disks that you would like load onto the computer,
Yes.
like
Yeah.
one at a time, and it took forever.
Yes. The publicity looked worse than Minecraft nowadays. So it's really, and that and then you had to compete against the Yellow Pages, one of the biggest monopolies here. We had one Yellow Pages and everybody, but of course the prices asked were so high. So you can play and you had a narrative that you could find. And yeah, well, but it really was an exciting time in a way, and it was then. But it's such a pity, because if we then had it with all the data, we would have been incredibly big online, and because what we actually had was way further ahead than the rest. We had top 30,000 companies with all deciders, and you could use it as a database to do marketing as well. So it was Yellow Pages combined with like a top business database, all extractable. And so we had an incredible product. Internet, was it going to be a success? You never knew, but we thought so. So I think we assessed that one right. And now I feel the same with blockchain. In 3 years already, most of the world will know it. In 5 to 10 years, everybody will know it.
Well, people don't know what's coming. That's what I always say to myself.
Oh,
People
yes.
don't even understand the fundamentals.
How do you
of what it can
explain
do.
it to others? How do you explain it? That's so difficult. And they always want it explained in a minute or two, preferably.
Well, yeah, I think I just try to copy what Charles Hoskinson says. So when he tries to explain it, he's like, essentially, you're taking the system, in many ways, a system like we have now, but you're shifting all of the power to the individual now. It's away from the people in the center that control what you see. And now there's, and then of course he has the island and pond and ocean and all these
Yeah. No,
beautiful statements that he gets out. But there's no simple way to explain blockchain or Cardano, because the second you say Cardano and cryptocurrency, you're in Bitcoin maximalist territory, and that's all people have heard about, right? So
yeah, or Dogecoin, of course. There's
which is even more upsetting.
Oh yeah, Doge. That's really good, and then and then Ethereum sometimes.
Yeah, what I try to say to simplify things for people that are not aware of blockchain, and I know this is not accurate, but at least I think it's a first step, is that I think that blockchain is a way to make people that don't necessarily trust each other to cooperate in some way and remove like central authorities. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's also what I try to do. Or just even simplify it even more. I just start with the basic. It's a ledger. It's like a cash register you put online in every transaction. But contrary to the regular world, everybody sees it. Nobody can tamper with it. Nobody can manipulate it. And so, yeah.
So you kind of bring up, it's really funny. I had a trial. I talked for the first half hour with my son. We're going to do this interview to help a 10-year-old understand what it is, but it's actually an interview so that I can let my mom know what I'm doing. Because she has no idea that I have a YouTube channel, let alone that I'm into cryptocurrency. And she's probably going to assume that I'm a drug dealer now and that that it's not safe and whatever. I mean, that was back when I was in 20s. This is not now anyway. But to kind of put out the idea and understand it is like, I have a professional career, and this is where that transition is going to happen, JP, in my point of view and understanding is, at some point, all the people that are getting to know me now are going to only know me as a guy that started off or came through Project Catalyst. But for the first 40 years of my life, here's the firefighter, here's the military veteran, here's the whatever title they held and who I am. That's what they're going to look at and say, well, wait, you're into that now. And hopefully I can carry that trust and that respect and everything that I've had in the past and kind of use that and bring those people over to and whether they care or not, everyone has their own life and their own ecosystem that means more to them than anything. So if they're interested in what I have to say, great. If they're interested in blockchain and they hear about it, but they want to know, well, hey, I know Kenny and he knows about it now, so let's see what he has to say. I might be building that bridge for this small segment of the world, but I'm also trying to make that for others. But Rick, I have a question for you, because I understood blockchain, or I knew that a blockchain existed. I was watching the financial crisis happen, and I salvaged my retirement from using investment power with precious metals, and I got myself recovered and everything settled. But I was introduced to blockchain in 2013. I knew about it, and it was so veiled that I didn't know about it. In 2000, like, I did Oregon Trail back in the day. I was using MS DOS. I did AutoCAD before they transitioned into GUI. I was a command line interface guy, but I let it all go because I wanted to be that out in the open, live that different life, and not anyway. I love the statement that with the ledger, that, hey, it's an open ledger that anyone can see and anyone can know and what it is. I challenge that statement, and I would love to hear any point of view on this, because I need to figure out how to it is true. My mom could see my transaction, but how in the hell is she going to do that? In what way? She has the capability, but she doesn't have the ability to see what it is. So that's where it's taken me a lot to learn that, okay, if I know that I go to this adapools.org and I grab this address, I can then put this in, and then I can change. Like, yeah, it can happen. I might be doing it in the clumsiest, most cumbersome way, or the only way. That might be one of the tools to look at presenting or building for the world, is to make it easier for that openness. It is true, anyone can see a blockchain transaction, but not everyone can. What percentage of people would you estimate right now even could, if they wanted to?
Not me.
Yeah,
I know that sounds bad, but not me.
well, you can do it for Ether, I probably think. Ether scan, Binance scan.
Yeah.
So, well, there will come an ADA scan too. So by the time somebody, so
those Cardano scan is one. That's for the pools. Pool.pm is fantastic. That one runs a constant screening. Like half a minute ago, 210,000 ADA went from one address to another, and it shows that transmission or transaction. The last person to stake was to Bravo Pool. There's 2.5 thousand ADA moved there. I mean, there's running apps that show and exist that. So I know how to, because I've been forcing myself to learn it. But it's just a thought. I don't mean to take it offline, but
no, but that's a huge problem, because, well, actually it was the same. I was also in the Swarm sessions where they were talking about participation and everything else, and also in Discords, and that apparently everywhere happens the same. Even in our group, the safety and numbers Discord, happens exactly the same. People come in very enthusiastic and so on. They do a little bit of things, but most of them just disappear. Or when you then really, they seem enthusiastic, but then when you ask, come on, let's vote, let's discuss, let's open, very, very few actually do something, take something initiative. In fact, well, when you look at psychology, it is known that in people, 95% are followers, 5% are leaders. Actually, when you're standing at one side of the line, it only takes 5% of people to move to the other side of the line. The rest will follow without knowing why. They don't know why they were there in the first place. They don't know why they were there in the second. They just follow. So I've seen a lot of experiments. It's amazing how people actually can be trained and stop. It's like they stop thinking for themselves, and they prefer it that way. Everybody says here, governance and everything else, but not everybody wants even governance. That's why actually in the current system, community advisors have way much more power than they actually should. Their rating decides who gets funded. If they give you a bad rating, no one will start saying, I will look myself, do several hours of DD to look at the proposal. And so it's actually then the same in that optic. Most people don't want to learn. They go for convenience. That's why a whole lot of people say, yeah, well, but Binance, it's easy, or this, why Coinbase, why with so much more expensive premium to buy Bitcoin? Just pure easiness and convenience. So being able to translate something and make it easy for the average Joe will pay money and still will pay money for a long time, in my point of view. So that's what's actually perhaps the best answer is making things so easy for someone average, because the whole situation is so overwhelming. People coming to swarm. For me, it was too, but I'm not easily scared off. But when you never used, I never used Discord, I never used Miro, I came in a swarm session, you see suddenly 40 arrows going, and I was thinking, I'm not sure how to create even a sticker. And then, of course, yeah, they say, well, just ask and everything. But if you really, I think you should prepare a tiny bit, because you can't do the preparation on site there. But I learned with my eyes, and then at one point in time. But so, and most other people, they actually don't ask, because there's also very much of a politeness in meetings. When you see people doing there or nothing, they don't want to disturb the flow. So yeah, that's easiness of use. That's actually, I think, the secret to most things. That's why I'm also with my channel, my communication, we going in oversimplify mode.
Yeah, improve user experience, right?
Yeah, user experience is key.
Yeah, that's whenever I think about helping people or explaining to people, I think of my brothers who have bought Cardano because I told them, I'm like, just buy, a few thousand just to be safe for in the future, But, I try to talk to them about voting and about Catalyst and about Swarm, and they just glaze over. They have zero interest in participating in it. But I think there's probably a lot more people, and will become more and more, that are in that middle range, that are like, I will give you, 45 minutes on a Saturday morning to go through my phone and vote, but that's it. So it has to be easy enough that that's my involvement and they feel good about it. But where I struggle is with the CA stuff, because I want to be a CA. I think that the proposals are often too weak and should not be making it even past a certain point, and that there should be a really harsh screening at some point that goes through where all the bottom ones are removed. But without having a set of eyes other than that group, other than the people who created it before the voters, I think that also provides a disservice, or is a disservice, because there needs to be some more simplified comprehension of the proposals. How to do it and how to do it effectively, I think, is still up for debate. But I think as more and more people come and you see, okay, now there's 300 community advisors or 500, or let's say we get to 500 and each one has 30, well, then it's less skewed, and it's more likely that those 30 people are not collaborating, not coordinating, especially with the tool that has been developed where it's kind of free random and, whatever else rules are put in place. But I still think in every other, there has to be an assessment phase. And so what that looks like is something that is not totally sorted, but I don't think we can do away with it. And I think does less damage than having nothing will do.
Yeah, I think that the role of CA was ideated by Charles Hoskinson, and the idea was to solve a problem. And the problem is that the voters cannot go through 300 proposals, for example. So they need some kind of advice. And this is a solution, but a solution, not the solution. I think it's currently the way the system is, and of course it's going to evolve.
I think data evolution is we may see some bigger changes in Fund 6, and if not by 7, with regard to the titles and the roles and the timing. I think the role of community advisor, Phil K invited me in. Once I started up, he was right there in the open, and those first few questions, first few posts ever learning Discord. And I said, hey, I'm here. I'd like to learn. I'd like to know. where do I go? Because I was looking for that open page that didn't exist at that time. And he's like, well, become a community advisor. And I was like, whoa, that's dude, I don't know. What do you want me to advise on? I don't know. But it reality, that the title and the role, there has to be more. I agree with you. It has to break out into more versions, more, not getting stuck by the title itself, but by the role that it plays. An advisor for me in America and where I'm at, I help, I advise, I help, I teach, I do things, but advisor does not mean filter through a proposal and ensure that it meets certain criteria. So that by title, I would look for a different title for that role in the community. And then the community advisor itself, that position should show up much sooner in this process, I think, in that whole iteration loop. And I know that like Quasar and a few other people are working on, I want to say Lucio, maybe there's a handful of people that are digging in deep. Actually, he just sent, there's another mural board that exists that has a huge Rodrigo set that one up.
And Mike.
And that thing is okay. Yeah, I know. And that is a huge, it's really, really cool. It exists, and they're looking at different names, different roles, and but you're right. It's the role is more important than the title, I think. I think that's changing around.
Yeah, and that advice that advice into the proposals is like, and you're right, it's that last screen, and like if that's the determining factor and not helping it along the way, so when it gets to that point that it's comprehensive and easy to understand and fulfilled. But I think you're right, like the judgment of the CA, if we want to call it that, and this is good, this is bad, or I heard other people getting hung up because it doesn't have performance indicators. And they're like, okay, well, this is to do with human beings. And we're trying to get people in, like your indicator is less important, and then get a bad score. And so there's definitely flaws in the system, but I think there's that delineation of rules will go a long way to really clarifying.
Yeah. I was a Fund 5. I have a Fund 5 proposal out there, and I think I'm asking for like $8,000 total for everything, and I'm not trying to take it for myself. I just worked with actually the Chad, who just came on board a couple of weeks ago. Him and I had a good long conversation last week. After I met him, he's probably going to be my marketer for that project, and he'll get a piece of that. And once we come to an agreement, we'll put that out in the open and show what it is. But you're spot on with that. And what, I don't know if you guys remember, in one of the town halls, maybe 4 or 5 town halls ago, right before Fund 5 went into final phase, they had pushed out this 6-part checklist that everyone that had a proposal had to do step 1 through 6 and verify that they were doing all these things. And 17. It took me
17.
I'm one of those 17. It
me
took
too.
me about 2 hours.
Me too. And what I do find is that they should really, because they had said everybody else is taken off. So at least there should be actually a real benefit for those who did it. Because I'm sorry, you can't just say, hey, there were too few. It's wrong.
I tried letting that one roll off my back, Rick, but yeah, but I do get the point that, like, I let that go for me personally, because I said you can't throw away 90% of the proposals, because I know that a number of them were caught up on verification of human identification, but whatever they set a rule, I followed it. But that doesn't serve the purpose of the greater community. But what I do feel, if I'm slighted in any way, and I'm sure you feel the same way, Rick, is, hey, here's a great big giant gold star for this proposal, because Ken did everything we asked. Rick did everything we asked.
And the rest didn't. Yeah. And that I find too, that must be something at least that should be acknowledged. They actually told us in town hall that they were going to do something, but just like, and that's the whole problem, I think. For me, it's different. The whole idea scale platform is the worst thing ever. I say, I have never seen a piece of software making me feel as dumb as many times as that platform does. I still need to search, and some steps are, okay, I first need to go there to go back there or something like that. It's so weird.
And reformat a 2,000 word document. And
yes, and really, and then secondly, the whole situation has a fundamental problem, because in town halls they start asking things like, hey, there's a few proposals with very high ratings and 75 of the proposals are underneath there with very bad ratings, low quality. But they also say, yes, we want neutrality, is what they call it. I had discussions with IOHK and everyone. Neutrality. We want neutrality. I understand you really need neutrality. But they then ask, we need to lift up the quality. There's only one solution to do that, to give feedback and real advisement earlier. That's why I would make what's called my flywheel accelerator. That was my idea, to have everything not only regarding Catalyst itself, but also the discords, the tools that a newbie, I lost time to learn the discords, to learn Miro, to do all that. It should all be ready made in some sort of like chamber. Here it is, there's the information, there's everything from Catalyst, those sites, there you can find project tracking, but most importantly, also some real feedback. Hey, you have a bad tech stack, you need to really adjust that. So as you said, you need earlier feedback and real assistance. How can you do that? For instance, you create some sort of moderator, or what is it, an ambassador for one project. The community advisor helps one project, but for that project, he doesn't vote. All the other community advisors can vote, but he gives feedback. He says, yeah, well, the tech stack, there you need to do it. You will see the all over quality improve drastically.
Yeah,
but then they said, we don't do neutrality. I say you keep neutrality if you say you vote, but not on your own proposal. There is still, and actually, I'm a real fan of what's called the flywheel accelerator effect. The quicker you help, way at the end, the magnitude of quality of projects are there. And then they said, yes, but well, we can't, we don't want that. But I explained, if you only give a final verdict at the very end and you don't give the people chance to better it, how can you ask for better proposals? It's either one or the other. If you say, we don't help anybody. I talked to somebody coming from Wolfram, and they were sent to Cardano. I talked to him, and he also studied Polkadot and all others. He said, with Polkadot, all projects are really being guided, helped, assisted, everything else, and then they can go for funding. And Polkadot has also funds, of course, Web3 grants and parity. So that he said, yeah, that community is ready. Over here, he finds it a bit scattered. I said, correct. It is correct. All information is scattered. All things is, and of course, we are actually left a bit alone. I have actually, with the ambassadors and the format, I want to start with a debate with me, James from Gimbal Labs, who immediately gave his okay. I wanted Dor and Charles to come, because to talk about idea skill, about some other things like WADA not being having received funds, because well, when it's pure groundwork or prevention, it's not sexy and it's deemed too expensive. But there were 3 people having worked for free for months, and they asked for $20,000 to continue. They didn't get it. And now they are paraded around like, see what kind of work WADA does. But you know why? There was one person who had seen it and he donated money for them. So despite of Catalyst, WADA is there. And now it's ironic to be paraded around by Dor. Look at the success from Catalyst. No, It just shows how badly
Yeah.
Catalyst needs to be changed in mentality. And so that's a whole different thing. So I would say, don't try to better what we have now. Idea scale is so shit. It's just like saying, hey, we didn't start, we started something new with Cardano because Ethereum had bad foundations. Well, I say the same about idea scale. Don't put time in that. And we already see all those little things like George Lovegood. He has all data for Catalyst and all that, and he still needs cooperation from IOHK. That is weird. He has programmed for 6 months for free. He doesn't get even access to the needed information easily. While when you have a sexy product, DeFi, and you have Liquid and you want to make a platform and all that, suddenly in 3 rounds you get 400,000 US dollars to pay a lot of external Haskell programmers, probably more than $100 an hour, to program it. And I also voted yes, it is important, but I say there's something wrong with how the other things are being valued. And I would say in the whole process of Catalyst itself, we need advisors, we need people helping out, giving feedback. A flywheel accelerator is the only solution.
Yeah, well, there's no shortage of work, that's for sure, to be done, right? That's well, should we go back in the main room? I feel bad that we've.
Yeah, actually, I was looking here, but it seems like everyone is in the breakout rooms still.
They're still in their breakout.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I'm happy to stay and talk to. No, I think, and what you're talking about is funny too, because it really only solves one side of the problem as well. It solves the proposal being better and the proposal being complete and voters having all that information, but it doesn't solve the breaking it down for voters who have, 150, let's even be conservative and say 150 proposals. They're still not going to read it. So you still need another way to separate those proposals on merit, on the criteria that they are. And that's another challenge, which I'm just pointing out. Not that I have a solution.
No, there is actually a challenge, and I actually have a solution, because my collective has several projects, several pieces to be together, but they all originated by looking at challenges. And then I started thinking about solutions for each of those challenges. And all of a sudden, at one point in time, I'm a fan of Polkadot, and I always envisioned Polkadot in 3D. And at one point in time, all those problems and the solutions came together and formed one huge collective. So I want to bring value-added services for startups, and that's actually my solution for Catalyst as well. I would say, first of all, you divide it in teams, because somebody that's not really into NFTs, why should they even have to go over a project of NFT? Secondly, I also say that you take your specialty only. When I look at the proposal, I don't know anything about the techniques, the tech stack, all that. I'm not good at drawing, so in design, I don't feel like I can contribute. Business strategy, sales, marketing, overall, that's my specialty. So why not break up all the proposals in segments, and then all the people in teams? You make your own digital identity and you say, I'm good at this, I'm good at that, and also I love NFTs, or I find NFTs all bullshit. So then you can actually disperse those kind of proposals also to the people who had the most feeling with it. If you make an application for dogs, well, let it be scored by all the people who are dog owners and dog lovers in your community, because they are the people, the target pool anyway for the DApp as well. So I would do it like that, twofold: create digital identities in the one part, and split up every proposal in specific components. And then everybody just sees this is for me, and I don't need to search. I don't need to waste time with things I don't believe in or about things I have no clue about. Because for me, I can't say if George has programmed it well, or if the tech stack is adequately built up. I can't say that. So why should I even, well, try it? Because my opinion is should be some quality. I don't want to give an opinion just to be able to give an opinion. I like giving an opinion when I feel like I have actually something to say or to add. So that's how I would do it.
Uh, guys, I have to go now. I'm sorry, but it was really nice talking to you.
Hey, before you go, Victor, and I want to just real quick, Rick, you can't tell Victor that NFTs are BS because I owe him an NFT.
That's true.
I'm huge. I'm the biggest NFT fan ever. No problem.
No.
I love
I'm still
NFTs.
learning it. I have. We've got a side thing going. He was my 50th subscriber on YouTube, and I took a snip of the shot and I saved it, and that's my first unofficial non-NFT. And once I learn how to do it, once I get that thing running and I can do it and I get in CLI, Victor is getting my first NFT.
But we should actually talk a bit too, because you have a lot of the ideas exactly the same as me and the ambassadors. Really, we should do that some other time.
Yeah.
So thanks, guys. Feel free to continue here as long as you want.
Bye, Victor.
Bye-bye.